Kevin Lawney with BIOS Technologies. We're glad you joined us today to learn more about the cloud. I'd like to introduce our presenter today, Colin Pettis. He is currently Director of Operation at BIOS IT, but he's been developing and supporting cloud technology for over 11 years. So technically before the term cloud was coined, Colin was in it. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Colin.
Thanks very much, Kevin. When I started working in cloud computing in 2004, companies serving up hosted resources were known as application service providers. Terms like software as a service, the cloud, infrastructure as a service were still even a few years away. It's been an exciting time to work with cutting-edge cloud technology for the last 11 years, and it's been fun to help define the next generation of IT service delivery. So one of the first things you may want to know is, what is the cloud? Well, we know it's not a vapor of data bits above our head. That much is clear. What it is a model for storing your data and applications on enterprise-level servers in secure data centers. This enables on-demand access to your resources from any device, like web browsers or mobile apps. There are many different kinds of cloud providers with a variety of offerings. You're most likely familiar with common email and data hosts like Google and Dropbox. There's also the big cloud developers like Microsoft and IBM who can design custom cloud-based solutions. But today we're going to focus on a segment of the cloud that helps to organize and secure all of your different resources into one web top. So the next question naturally is, what is a cloud web top, also known as a cloud desktop? Well, a web top is a secure virtual workplace. It unifies your software, your web services, and your data all in one organized place. It's the cloud equivalent to a traditional desktop, but with many more capabilities to make today's computing experience easier, effective, and enjoyable. So with a good web top, you can embrace today's multi-platform, multi-device environment without compromising security or control or performance. Of course, cloud web top abilities can greatly vary depending on the cloud service provider. So my goal today here is to try and quickly and clearly educate you on the key characteristics of great cloud web top. I'm going to use what I've learned over the last decade of being immersed in this industry to help you navigate the multitude of cloud offerings that are out there today and determine, one, which characteristics of a cloud web top solution are key to implementing or improving your cloud computing experience, and two, how does a cloud web top affect the true cost and value of your IT? So when evaluating any IT services, really traditional or cloud, you're going to want to consider the true cost and value. My colleagues and I have had many discussions about cost, value, and how cloud computing can affect it. Business owners, accountants, and infrastructure engineers all see it with different angles, but I believe the true cost and value of IT can be summarized in four main areas. First, we have performance of the individual. Then we have efficiency of the system. We have risk management. And last, we have capital expenses. So let's start with performance here. And by performance, I'm talking about you and your employees' daily productivity. So with cloud solutions, your software, services, and data are at your fingertips. You use multiple platforms like Windows or Mac and multiple devices like desktops or tablets or phones to access your resources. In traditional environments, one might be tied to a specific platform or a specific workstation. So your ability to work anytime, anywhere, on any device can create efficiencies for your life. Work when and how you need. This can also, by the way, come in really handy when you forget your keys to the office and you have to start work in the stairwell until the next person shows up. You and your employees are usually in multiple locations, but you're going to be able to operate centrally under one virtual workspace. It should look and function cohesively from any access point. Also under performance, there are 3 sets of tools that I believe can have a direct effect on your productivity. First is collaborative tools. A good cloud webtop will provide collaborative tools for your teams. For example, file sharing features or an employee directory in which one person can update their own information. A webtop should also have easy provisioning tools, something where your IT administrators can eliminate roadblocks for employees by assigning the resources they need to keep up their efficiency. They can stop waiting for the computer guy to show up just to install one application for one employee. Single click kind of provisioning with a webtop. The ability to add company-wide resources on demand, meaning additional storage space or more powerful servers that can prevent conflict when employees are sharing limited resources for competing business needs. Also, and last, are powerful self-service tools in the tools realm. This can allow each employee to manage specific aspects of their account without the assistance of a supervisor or an administrator, which of course can be a big time saver. And finally, under performance, passwords. Unlike many traditional desktop implementations, a good cloud webtop will have single sign-on technology that allows you to securely log into all of your hosted and web-based resources without having to remember a bajillion passwords. That's right. No more passwords on Post-its. I bet that someone attending this webinar right now actually has a Post-it under their keyboard scribbled with passwords. So single sign-on technology, as I mentioned, helps you to set complex passwords for all of your cloud services without having to insecurely store them. The next area of true cost and value is efficiency. Here I'm talking about system efficiency, the infrastructure of the cloud webtop. For many years, cloud services have traditionally been able to deliver high system availability by utilizing redundancies that traditional systems do not. Many cloud providers will guarantee their system efficiency by offering service level agreements, SLAs, that are at or hopefully above industry standards. Regardless if you go with a traditional or cloud service, any IT service you go with, I highly recommend that you ask your potential IT provider about their service levels that they offer. It's an easy way to compare groups that provide similar services. Cloud capabilities allow you to work from any computer with an internet connection. This makes events like office changes or relocations, which traditionally require significant time and money, a lot more cost-effective and progressive by allowing staff to seamlessly work from home during moves or construction. A cloud service should also provide quick system setup and easy deployment. A webtop can make new employee access as simple as giving them a web address, a username, and a password, and click and go. They're ready to rumble. I will mention again that a good webtop should have easy and full-featured provisioning tools, so your administrators can manage the system with consistency using features like change logs or new user templates. Traditional services utilize multiple administrative consoles usually, which can make things like adding new user a complex and time-consuming process for the administrators and for the user. And as more and more technology vendors convert their products to be in the cloud, it is important for cloud platform provider or a webtop to have tight integration abilities to put all of your web-based resources. So your emails from Office 365, your Salesforce web application, your data storage with Dropbox, all combined in one webtop and at your fingertips. So last under system efficiency is cloud services are very scalable and should fully support strategic initiatives to grow your business. When you have to move fast to capture that one contract or a whole market, you want your services, your IT services, to expand with you, and you want them to be able to expand with you. Now we talk about a very important area of the cloud, and that is risk management. As the cloud has developed over the last decade, some providers have neglected key aspects of security and risk management to bring their product to market faster. I feel strongly that any cloud solution you consider should pay attention to these key aspects. First, as I mentioned before, many cloud services have been able to deliver extraordinary system availability. You should expect your cloud to always be up. Cloud service providers can offer a level of business continuity and disaster recovery that traditional environments just can't touch. In a traditional system where data and software live on the local computer or server, you're much more subject to environmental abuse, meaning theft or accidents or acts of God. With the cloud, you're not going to be loading your company servers into the back of your SUV with the kids and the dogs while you're bugging out for a hurricane. You're just going to go to where you need to go, get online, and start using your services again. So by utilizing advanced, fully integrated backup and replication technology, you should have a broad range of cost-effective disaster recovery options available to you from a provider. Traditional systems often make you choose between limited disaster recovery or high expense. You're going to want your cloud webtop to meet or exceed industry standards on antivirus security, of course. That's a big one, and it's been around for years. But still, traditional networks have inherent problems stopping the spread of viruses and malware, where infections in cloud architecture are normally isolated. Cloud webtops should provide system administrators with multiple security options that they can configure to meet your company's compliance needs. Things like two-factor authentication. That's when an additional passcode is sent to you via like a handheld device that you plug that in after you plug in your password. Prove it's you. Complex passwords should be available as an option. And activity or access logs should be standard available choices for any cloud security or cloud webtop. And finally, under risk management is your data. Your data should be secured and stored in a data center with enterprise-level antivirus and firewall technologies. Your provider should be able to provide multiple ways for you to transfer and access your data securely using the latest encryption technologies. And the last area to talk about today is one that I'm sure you are constantly considering, and that is capital expenses. Cloud services can help to eliminate capital expenses while reducing operating expenses. Capital expenses while reducing operating expenses. That was right. You're not purchasing the infrastructure hardware outright. You're lowering your costs of managed services. Those two things should lead to profit increases for you. You'll subscribe to your cloud services and only pay for what you use. All-inclusive pricing can scale predictably for financial planning, which is nice compared to traditional systems in which the cost structure is less predictable. You'll purchase a static amount of servers and storage space that will anticipate your future needs, but will sit unused until that time in traditional systems. An example, we all have to buy printer toner cartridges for the office, but rarely do we try to anticipate the next 5 years of usage so that we can buy them in bulk. Not only would that many cartridges be expensive and use valuable space, but your toner needs could very well change in the future. Fortunately, all of this is unnecessary because you can buy toner as you need it. And now you should be able to buy with cloud services, subscribe to them as you need them, pay for what you use. Other ways the cloud can affect expenses are with bundled software packages, which can help reduce your licensing costs. And then our final characteristic in expense is infrastructure updates. Providers of traditional services usually require additional expense for infrastructure upgrades. Most cloud infrastructures and webtops include system updates as part of the centralized services. And a centralized services in this case is generally described as a proactive service, as something that's implemented across the entire system. Like many things in IT, if your centralized services are working great, then you're going to barely notice them. So at the beginning of this webinar, I said that I wanted to give you the knowledge to identify and evaluate key characteristics of cloud web top solutions and how they can affect your true cost and value of IT. If I was successful, you can take your new understanding of the topic and have an informed conversation with your current IT provider or any potential new provider to get the most value out of your IT dollars. But, of course, if you still have questions, we'd be happy to sit down and discuss your particular needs. It also just so happens, I know this is a funny coincidence, but we at BIOS Technologies have a multifaceted program for delivering superior IT, and one of the ways we do that is with our service of BIOS Cloud Desktop for Business. So I'd like to give you a quick demonstration of our web top, the BIOS Cloud Desktop for Business, and then finish off our time today with questions. Please submit any of your questions to the webinar chat and ask about, of course, anything we've touched on today, the cloud, web tops, comparisons to traditional systems, or the BIOS program specifically. So let's change over to my screen, and let's take a look at the BIOS Cloud Desktop for Business. So the BIOS web top is your primary portal to your applications, files, email, whatever else makes your business run. And that's what we're looking at right now. However, we also provide custom applications that can also be installed on a variety of platforms, Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android, for ubiquitous access and tighter integration with local resources. I'll show you one of those apps real quick at the end here. So using any internet browser on any connected computer device, you can navigate to your company's branded login website. Once you've logged in, you're a click away from a wide-ranging set of features to access your work, manage your day, collaborate with others. So each distinct section of this cloud desktop we're looking at are commonly known as desktop objects. For example, the applications object. You can see that here. The applications object is where you would launch and manage your hosted applications and web apps. In the cloud, by the way, here's a definition for you. A web app or web application is an online software application in which the user interface runs in a web browser. Some examples of this are things like your Capital One online banking, Expedia. If you want to go to Expedia and it's got a login, it runs in a web browser interface. All the way up to Facebook even is, again, a web application, runs through a web browser. So launching a hosted application in the system, the applications you're looking at, we're just going to open up Outlook here, 2013, and that's up in my favorite section. You can see you've got actually more applications available to you, but you can set some as your favorites. And if I click on that, you're going to see the indicator blinking, see that it's opening. And this is your Outlook. Your Outlook's going to open normally. It's going to look like it's running on your local computer, but in fact, it is running in your company's secure private cloud and is delivering the cloud application to your local computer seamlessly. Looks like a local application, but it is not. If you launch a web app, and we'll do Expedia here for this demonstration, and I'm just going to click on it. I'll tell you, before I click on it actually, it's going to launch the website in another tab in my local browser, and it's going to automatically log me in using secure single sign-on technology. And you're going to see it kind of inject my username and everything into the page. And I'll click on that now. There's the page. You can see it. Well, you can see my calendar invite. You can see it injecting my email address, putting my password in there securely, and here I am. It's welcoming me in. Hello, Colin. And I didn't have to touch a single thing other than the single click to open the application. So also up here you have things like a session manager. Up in the session manager is a self-service feature that allows a user to disconnect or reconnect active applications. It allows you to move physical locations and pick up your work exactly where you left off. You can also use this feature to shut down problematic applications when needed, which helps to avoid calls to the service desk. Also here, other than the applications object, we have work folders over to the left-hand side. Work folders let you securely access your cloud-based file system from any device. And we'll just click on the work public area. You'll see the folders and files underneath it. You can also share files with people outside of your department or company in an easy and secure way with public, tracked, and private links. You can see this little share button over here, and if I click on that, it's going to allow me the option to do a public, tracked, or private link. And each one of those gives you various levels of security with your file sharing. You can share those with people outside of your department or even outside of your company with that link. The recipient of the link will be able to preview or download that file. And all of this is available directly from the web page. No additional software or logins necessary. So last thing I'll point out on our Cloud Desktop for Business, the BIOS Cloud Desktop for Business today, is some of the security features that reside here in our Company Manager section. I'm just going to click on this IMA's settings up here. And on the left-hand side, we're going to see some administration. And one of the first things that I'd like to show you is devices and security. This is a feature that allows you to view and manage all of your devices that are currently connected to the web top, using your credentials, of course. You can see specific internet browser sessions and application sessions. If I click on the little information button, we're going to see details on that session, when it was connected, all the way to being able to disconnect that session and wipe files. That's within a synchronization process that I'll show you in a second here. So there's all kinds of additional information that can be pulled from this, and you can filter out a lot of the devices in security and see more detail. The thing that I have clicked to here is the activity log. So you can click straight from devices and security into the activity area, or you can click on it directly. You can see down here on the left I have company activity. The activity log is a real-time snapshot of your employee's cloud desktop activity. You can confirm when someone has last logged in. You can see which applications they've launched, including detailed time and location information about when they launched that application and where. So depending on your specific workflow, you may want to use any one of these features or a combination of. As I mentioned to you earlier, we have other ways to access your cloud resources, including desktop platform applications. For example, a person who might want to use something other than the web top is somebody like a road warrior, someone who's traveling a lot and working offline. They'll mostly use perhaps a combination of the web top and something that we call Cloud Desktop for Windows. And I'll minimize this on my screen, and down at the bottom you can see in my bar a little icon running, and if I click that open, that's actually running on my Windows and is always available. When my computer logs in, it automatically logs me into my Cloud Desktop for Windows, and from here I can also launch my hosted resources, my applications, and see my next calendar appointment or my next email. But what's really distinct about this is the ability to work offline. Cloud Desktop for Windows is an application that allows your cloud resources to work seamlessly with your local applications from your Windows desktop. You can see, like I said, it looks very similar, but it has the ability to synchronize and access your work files offline to your laptop, for example, so that when you are on that plane or when you are traveling and you're offline, you can still work on those files when you're not connected to the internet. They'll automatically synchronize to the cloud. You can see this right up here, recently synced up to date. It'll show you all of that information about your synchronization. And they'll synchronize back to the cloud when you are back online, and then they'll be available from any of your cloud file interfaces. So that was a little demonstration of, again, the BIOS Cloud Desktop for Business and the BIOS Cloud Desktop for Windows application.